I've been using Apple TVs since 2011. I also use the Fire TV devices and occasionally the Google Chromecast. I gotta say, the Apple TV is the best streaming device. This updated 2021 Apple TV 4K just builds on that a little more. Let's take a look at what's new with this and 5 reasons why I think this is the best streaming device. I know the Apple TV is not for everyone. If you plan to only stream music or watch videos, save your money, get one of the other choices. I'll put down in the description the links to the Apple TVs, but also the Amazon Fire devices so you can save some money. Also, take a look at the 10 tips video to get more out of your Apple TV. Even if you aren't in the Apple ecosystem, this is still a great streaming device for video, audio, and some of these features that I'm going to talk about. This goes beyond what Google and Amazon are doing on their devices. The Apple TV 2021 comes in 2 versions, 32GB and 64GB of storage. I've always gone with the base model. I've never had a problem with overfilling it or being asked to delete apps. So this is not a huge upgrade, but it still has some nice changes. One of the biggest ones that will help future-proof this is the upgraded A12 processor that first came out in the iPhone in 2018. It is a processor that's now being used in the base level iPad. The iPads are killing it. So to have that same kind of processor in here really helps with the gaming. Really is gonna make a difference as more and more features come out. Next is the Siri remote. This is a big change. I never really had a problem with the original version, except that it was glass and it would chip. The touchpad didn't bother me, but they've upgraded it to a metal version with real clicky buttons. There is still the touchpad, so if you do prefer to do the swiping and moving around, that is still an option. There's a Siri microphone on the side. On top, they've added a power button, so if you hold it down, it shuts down your devices. Press it once, turn it on, everything comes up. You have the TV button that'll take you directly to the TV app. This is a very good looking remote, maybe way too over-engineered. It's pretty. I worry about it getting dinged and falling around, but I also don't want to cover it in some little cheap rubber silicone case. So we're just gonna leave it free and see how it lasts. We'll check in later. The next big update is the addition of high frame rate, which is gonna give you even more clearer, better looking content. The new Apple TV does have HDMI 2.1 on it. That means you are gonna have to get the more expensive 2.1 cable in order to get that high frame rate and better looking image. Some of the other updates are Bluetooth 5.0. This supports Wi-Fi 6. It is a Thread router, but it only supports Thread devices that are HomeKit certified, not just any Thread devices. There's also an IR transmitter in here to be able to control some of your other devices' volume and power using the Siri remote. Now this remote can be purchased separately and added to previous generations of Apple TV. Now one thing I'm surprised that is missing is the U1 chip. Apple's been adding the U1 chip into the Apple Watch, iPhone, iPad, and recently into the HomePod Mini. It can tell where other devices are with high precision, so it's interesting that this doesn't have it. Before we go into my 5 reasons, you are going to need to log into your streaming services. That's where today's sponsor can help you. Are you using the same password across multiple sites? According to studies, 2/3 of people are. Is that you? I know I was guilty of using the same password on more than 50 sites, but not anymore. I use NordPass. NordPass is a password manager from the makers of the popular NordVPN. NordPass helps you make secure passwords without having to memorize them. Along with passwords, you can also store credit cards and other information. NordPass also makes it easy to share those unique passwords with friends and family. There's a password health tool that will check to see how strong your passwords are and how many times you're reusing the same one. It's time to get a password manager to protect yourself. For a limited time, you could grab the 2-year premium plan at 50% off and get an extra month free if you use the nordpass.com/CTT link found here and in the description. First reason I go with the Apple TV is the ecosystem and services. If you're an Apple user, this integrates into your Apple world nicely. You log in with your iCloud account and all your content syncs up. You log your family members into their iCloud accounts and everybody's stuff stays separate. When they log in, they see what they want to see. Really convenient. Part of that ecosystem too is it's a very familiar feel if you're an iPhone or iPad user. Just all blends so nicely. Let's talk about the services. First service would be Apple Arcade. You can pair an Xbox or PlayStation controller to the Apple TV and be able to play console-like games. That's part of the reason they needed to upgrade this processor. Now, a lot of the games are indie games or they feel like mobile games, but at $4.99 a month, it's kind of hard to beat, especially for a young gamer in the house. Another service is Apple Fitness for classes. It is significantly cheaper than a lot of options out there. A popular service is iFit. It came with my treadmill that I bought. That thing is $400 a year for a family, or $15 a month for an individual. Apple Fitness Plus is $10 a month or $80 a year, and that includes family members. It is cool that Apple Fitness will sync to the watch and show your heart rate and other vitals on the screen. When you go to launch Apple Fitness and you have your Apple Watch on, it'll confirm who you are. That way it goes to the right account. Next service would be Apple TV Plus for $4.99 a month. Great show on there, Ted Lasso, Mythic Quest, For All Mankind. They really have some interesting stuff. Unfortunately, they don't have a ton of content, but I think Apple's being smart about this by pricing it low and also offering a lot of trials until they build up some more content. If you subscribe and then you find you watch all the good stuff, just cancel it and you come back later when they got some new stuff. Really, the best value is going with Apple One Plus for a family. You get 2 terabytes of cloud storage, Apple Music, Apple News, Apple Arcade, Apple TV, and Apple Fitness. Quite a bit for $30 a month. Next, let's talk about the interface and apps. I love the interface of Apple TV. The big part is that up next section. This keeps track of what you're watching across different services. Whatever you watch most recently goes to the front of the line. Episode comes out, it puts it at the front of the line. So you can really keep track of all your different content across different services. The only bad part is that some services aren't supported. For example, Netflix and YouTube TV. I was thinking of switching to YouTube TV, but that up next section really keeps things organized and I don't want to lose it. Another great thing about the interface is if you're not watching content or video, you have the app screen and it feels like an iPad or an iPhone. It's very familiar, it's very clean, very easy to find things, and you can organize stuff into folders. One of the ththings I don't like about the Fire TVs is that Amazon puts banner ads in it. None of that stuff is on the Apple TVs. Visually, it's just the best looking interface. Now, with the apps, pretty much all the streaming services come right out on Apple TV. There's been some issues with some of the other services. For example, Disney Plus and Amazon had some issues. Google and Roku had some issues. Apple TV, they usually get it sorted out pretty quick there. Next reason to go with the Apple TV over some of the other choices is the smart home side of things. If you don't have a HomePod mini or using an iPad as a HomeKit hub, this will serve as a HomeKit hub for you, so you can start purchasing smart devices that work with Apple's HomeKit. What I like on the smart home side is you have access to Apple shortcuts, which allow you so many more automations. Like for example, on my Apple TV, I have one where I could say watch TV, and it'll ask me what service I want to watch. I say the name of it and it will launch that app for me and can even trigger some scenes on it. So the layers you could go into with the shortcuts are a lot better. Amazon did add some great automation features for their Fire TV stuff. The Apple TV 4K is also a Thread router, so that means you could start taking advantage of some of those Thread devices that are starting to come out, like lights from Nanoleaf. It's cool that with the Apple TV you can also see your cameras on the screen or control some of your favorite devices just by holding down the little TV button and bringing up the menu. If you are using one of their supported doorbells, it'll actually pop up on the screen when someone rings the doorbell. Another reason to consider this is the hardware and how much it's capable of and the features that are in there. Like this has spatial audio. Spatial audio makes the sound like it's coming from the screen and gives you a surround sound feel to it. Now you could hook up a set of AirPods Max or a set of AirPods Pro to this and get that surround sound feel and not disturb anybody who might be sleeping. You can also pair HomePods to the Apple TV. So if you have 2 HomePod minis, you can could get stereo sound. If you have a single or a pair of them, you could get Dolby Atmos out of the now discontinued full-size HomePods. You can also do this on Fire TV devices with supported echoes. Another new feature is color calibration, which uses the camera on your phone to analyze the colors coming from your TV and to set within the Apple TV box the color to industry standards. That means you don't have to mess with your TV when it comes out of the box. You just leave it alone, don't mess with the TV colors, let the Apple TV do it for you. Something new in this version is an audio return channel, and what that does is if you have a HomePod or a set of HomePods paired up to this, only the sound from the Apple TV comes out of those HomePods. With the audio return channel, if you plug stuff into your TV, the sound from your TV will come down and go into the Apple TV. This is great if you have a PlayStation. You want to plug it into your TV and get the sound coming out of your HomePods that are your stereo pair. A key thing is your TV has to have an audio return channel. Typically, it's on one of the HDMIs and says ARC. Now, the most important reason to get one of these is for the content. When it comes to video, the Apple TV 4K supports all the major formats, including Dolby Vision, HDR10, and now you have high frame rate, and that high frame rate separates it from Amazon and Google. I find on the Apple TV that when a new, better format comes out, that the major apps jump on top of that. I wish I could capture the way this HDR content looks on there. It's just amazing. For audio, you got all the major formats covered. On the video side, you do have Dolby Digital for surround sound and Dolby Atmos for 7.1 channel surround sound. With a single or a pair of full-size HomePods, you can get simulated Dolby Atmos out of it, which is pretty impressive for two speakers doing that. Another important content feature is being able to use Apple Airplay. Airplay allows you to send video or audio from a device to an Apple TV or a supported television. That way, if you want to share that video from your trip, Airplay it right to the Apple TV and share it with the family. With Airplay, maybe there isn't an Apple TV app for a service you use. You can use it on your device and Airplay the video or audio over. The Apple TV is great for content and has a lot of power for future potential out of it. So I'm really curious to see where this thing goes, how the games improve on it. Again, if you're just going to be streaming video, consider checking out the options in the description that might save you some money going with the Fire TV device. I think the real value of the Apple TV is when you go beyond streaming video and music. It is worth it if you want to be able to start your smart home, work out and have those fitness classes, be able to play some games, separate the family's content out, and so much more. Now, what streaming device are you using? Let us know in the comment section. Now, if you made it this far, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps it get recommended to more people. Next, make sure to check out this video over here, because if you get one of these, you're gonna need some tips on how to get the most out of it. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Bye.